I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing on this consent agenda, approval July 12, 2021 minutes, approval of utility account refund amount of $108.61. Is there a motion we approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Then I'll second it.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, approve the consent agenda, and any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Regular agenda 9, public comments, petition and memorial. Brown County Historical Society wants to thank the city of Hiawatha for the fireworks display and next request from Eric Luck regarding controlled burn permit. You want to come up here, Eric?
Yes, sir. Recently, our weeds were getting pretty high in our bullpen, so I've killed them all off. But it's ugly and it's up in the fences and whatnot. I'd like to just go out there with a torch and scorch them off to the ground just to clean it up better than it looks now. That's all I'm really asking for.
Have you talked to the fire department?
They sent me to you guys.
Oh.
We'll send you back and we'll just come back for it.
Well, I guess they approved it. Did they approve it or just tell us we need to approve it and then they send a firefighter over?
The second one, sir. The second one, they said to talk to you guys first, and then they would, once you guys approved it, then we'd set up a time.
And where's the location at?
Directly across the street from the armory, the fenced-in area where we keep all of our military vehicles.
Oh,
They're on First Street. I mean,
yeah. Right.
First,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
You're not talking about the airport.
No,
No,
the one right next to the building. Yes, sir.
you got a fuel tank there?
No.
Okay. Good.
That's good.
Smarter than the average bear. I would not be out there.
Just asking.
Unless I can get some fuel there. If you guys really need some training, we can get a big fireball going.
Yeah, we don't want to create any fires.
No, and that's part of the reason there's some of that stuff that's
Okay.
been out there growing on top of one another, and it's dead and thick, and it's just waiting for a match. Somebody flick a cigarette or something and catch on fire out there. So
Okay. Is there any comments in the commission?
Do you need a motion or can we just say it's okay?
Motion.
Yeah.
Motion to approve. Geez, what is that?
Controlled burn permit?
Second and Shawnee.
sure.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
If
I'm
not-
not familiar enough with the.
Just,
100 block of Delaware.
or Delaware, not Shawnee. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
100
you.
block of
I-
Delaware.
Burn down
I knew
somebody's
that
house.
wasn't right.
You have to go burn somebody's house down.
I didn't
I'll
know
make a
they moved,
motion
so-
to give permission for Eric Cluck to give a controlled burn permit at the 100th and Delaware block. Is that
100 Delaware block.
Fish.
Armory bullpen.
the Armory bullpen? There we go.
That sounds
In
good.
coordination with the fire
In coordination
department.
with the fire department. That's what I said.
For a second.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Go back to fire people and tell them, help you out.
All right.
All right?
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, Bob Freeze to speak regarding about kneecap. Bob?
Commission, thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. I come as a concerned citizen about economic development. I think that there's an existing business that wants to do business with the city, and I've seen the city do nothing but kind of poo-poo them, and that bothers me because the kneecap has looked at that property just north of the church and in conjunction with in an area where the skate park is. They've offered to move the skate park at no cost to the city. And currently, this property is being used in the summertime, 1 day a week by the farmer's market. And in the wintertime, it's used to store snow. And I've been in the grain business, and that I think storing snow is something like storing air. It doesn't pay very well. And so I think that and I've been on the commission for 8 years. I was part of HEFID for 3. And that one of the jobs the city commission has is economic development. And here we have a company that's been in this area at their current location for over 30 years, and they need to move. And they want to move to Hiawatha. And I'll challenge each of you commission to find another job, another company that will bring you 35 to 40 jobs that wants to come to Hiawatha and wants to have a location that they think is suitable for them. I don't think you have one. Evans, how many times have you brought a business to town with 35 to 40 jobs?
Not very many times.
How many?
Just a few.
A few? Dave?
I haven't.
Becky?
I don't generally get businesses in town.
You're part of the city commission. That's part of your job.
Yes.
And so I think that I've been told that this property that the city has is part of their long-term plan. Well, has the plan even been written that includes that property? Is my question. And here we have an opportunity to bring a business that has those jobs on that property. And it doesn't need a 5-year plan. It's there. Now, they won't pay taxes, property tax on that, but they will use sewer, they will use water, and their employees will be using the downtown a lot. They'll buy gas, they'll buy different things. And so, I mean, I've written long-term plans in my career, and typically long-term plans, 3 to 5 year or 10 year, by the time you get to the 3 or 5 years, things have changed so fast that they no longer are going to be in existence. And then by then, this business could be in Horton, could be in Sabetha, and then you've lost 30 to these jobs because this business has been at its current location for over 30 years. It could be here for 30 or 40 years. And so I guess I just think that a bird in the hand's worth 2 in the bush. And I know that, I mean, their employees are going to that are going to be in Hiawatha. They're going to spend money. I mean, they might need a haircut. They may need to go to Just For You to pick up a quick gift. They may need to go to the flower shop to get flowers. They may go out for lunch. And I think if you don't do something with them, that you send a message to other businesses that might want to come to town that you're really not open for business. I think it's a strong message if you go ahead and work with them to do this and say, and make it be known that Hiawatha is open for business for other people because we need jobs. And I mean, that's kind of a focus that a lot of us work for quite some time. So that's really all I have. I just, I think that we're doing a disservice to them by not, and the last time they were here, you really didn't even give them any direction, whether what they could do, as I kind of got the picture. And so I'd like you to strongly consider them to do that, to do this property, and make your plans, your long range plans, whatever you were planning to do with that property, start looking for another place for it. So I'll take any questions.
Well, you don't have to sell me, Bob. I'm been on board from day one, but I just.
Well, I mean, I just I know that, Bill, but I didn't want to. I mean, it's just. I mean, I moved here in '82 and thought I'd stay in Hiawatha maybe 3 or 4 years. Well, I'm still here. I like this place. and I want it to grow. I think it has great potential. It's got great people. And I think that that's something that we need to try to capture. Not every day you have a chance to keep that. Because if you lose them, then you got to go find another one to replace them. So I'd try to keep them if I were you.
Well, I don't think it's fair to say that we poo-pooed them. I mean, if you want to put it that way, they did it right back when we talked about other potential properties, and they weren't interested, or the impression I got is they weren't really looking around. I mean, that's not the only piece of land out there, the way I understood it. And that's what I was kind of asking, is there other areas in town that we could look at? Now, I don't know where it went from there. If it was just automatic, if we can't have that, we're done. I don't know.
Well, I think that's their preferred.
Well,
I don't know
we
that
all
they've-
have preferred.
But I don't know that they've had any other real options to look at, Becky.
I showed him a couple. One was land the city owns down by Little Hands. It would be south of the drainage, between the drainage area and Little Hands. And then also land it's currently leased by the Historical Society, but it's east of the ditch by the Fisher Center. It's between that ditch and the Ag Museum. Showed them that as well. Both of those would require dirt work compared to the First Street one, but showed them both of those.
And I don't know what dirt work costs compared to having to pour a whole new cement pad and move everything from the current skate park, because that's definitely something that had to be done. So I don't know anything about expenses and what dirt work is required, but so it wasn't a hard no. It was let's look at other options. And like I said, obviously you have your preferred place, but that's also a potential place for us to grow, which the city needs recreation. The city needs facilities that our kids can enjoy. How soon is it going to happen? I have no prediction.
I go back to, they found a spot and they like it and they want to stay in town and they're willing to go now. Potential where they could potentially put you can't eat potential. Once again, it's a business that will be here. They'll go now. And there's a lot of property around town that can fit into potential for recreation things. And so, I'm just voicing my opinion. And I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you coming in, Bob.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.
I think you did go out and ask somebody to give you an estimate on moving the skate park, didn't you, for the concrete and
On the concrete,
yeah.
I asked them if they'd be willing to move the ramps and all that, and the answer was no, but I'm waiting on a quote from the concrete. Based on this year's concrete bid, I put it around 36 grand with the depth and the size of it. But then, yeah, there'd be cost of
Moving the ramps.
moving the ramps, yeah, and securing them back down.
Well, I think what they're looking at is when they go in and see the elevation of that by the park over there, there's just little minute, just leveling, and it's ready to build on. I mean, they're looking at the financial side too, you know.
Yeah.
And actually, the structures they've submitted to us look really good to me. I mean, they're not eyesores. I mean, these are really, the engineers design them, the buildings and stuff like that, and they look pretty good. But it still takes, if city work together and if we created something, then it still need additional land for the addition, which goes right next to the church and behind the church, and of course the church would have to be on board too.
Jeanette Collier and Scott Sisk with Kneecap, who came prior, came and met with me last Thursday. One of the things they want to do is apply for a CDBG grant. They're first wondering if they could do that through the city, because it has to be either a city or a county. But I explained that we're applying for a sewer CDBG grant this year, and we're only allowed one. However, the counties can do two. They can sponsor two. So I think they're going to talk to the county about that. But part of getting a CDBG grant is either having the land or having a commitment for the land to purchase, should the grant be awarded or something like that.
But there's two different agencies wants to go kneecap, and there's wants to get a grant, one to build out here by the Walmart.
Yeah, I think
and they want to build a building there, and then this other one wants to build over here. Because actually they're separate, but they're
right. They're both going to ask the county.
So, and county can write two of them, and which I think we're tied up with the CBD grants right now because we're applying for one ourselves. So we're.
One of the questions that they had last Thursday is it a matter of free land versus a price, paying a price for the land, not just the skate park, but not just moving the skate park, but also is it a matter of if there were a price attached to it that they were willing to pay? Is that a difference? So I said they knew Bob was coming tonight, so I said I'd pass on our meeting and all that and pass on to you all that question as well.
Well, actually, we've got another meeting in another week. August. Don't we have a meeting 1st of August?
No, the second Monday.
see,
Yeah, is that
second
like
week,
the
okay.
12th or? I can't see that from there.
That's July.
Be the 9th, I think.
The 9th. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about the second county.
Oh, the county. Yes.
All right. I got too many meetings here. Okay. Okay. I guess it'll give the commission some time to think of actually.
In what meeting are you talking about?
The second.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Bill was talking about the county's request
Okay.
for their August 2nd meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you want to bring it back at the next meeting, commission?
I think we should.
Let's put it back on for the next meeting.
Okay.
And we'll give them some time to think and kind of soak in the information that Bob give us tonight. And so I didn't assume they was going to make any quick snap decisions tonight. So give us some time for the other commissioners to think about it and bring it back at the next meeting. Old business none. New business, the National Night Out 2021 proclamation. Tish, thanks, Bob.
The proclamation for National Night Out 2021, whereas the annual National Night Out provides a unique opportunity for Hiawatha to join forces with thousands of other communities across the country in promoting cooperative police community crime and drug prevention efforts. And whereas Hiawatha Police Department plays a vital role in assisting the citizens of Hiawatha through crime, drug, and violence prevention efforts in Hiawatha, and it's supporting National Night Out 2021 locally. And whereas it is essential that all citizens of Hiawatha be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and the impact that their participation can have on reducing crime, drugs, and violence in Hiawatha. And whereas police community partnerships, neighborhood safety awareness, and cooperation are important themes of National Night Out program. Now, therefore, Mayor William Collins does hereby call upon all citizens of Hiawatha to join the Hiawatha Police Department in supporting the National Night Out on August 3rd, 2021. Further, let it be resolved that Mayor William Collins does hereby proclaim Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021 as National Night Out in Hiawatha.
Thank you, Tish. Next on the agenda, consider approval of loan resolution to USDA for citywide sales tax street project. Is there a motion to approve USD loan resolution authorizing and providing for the incurrence of indebtedness for the purpose of providing a portion of the cost of acquiring, construction, enlarging, improving, and extending the streets 2018 facility and several area lawful within the jurisdiction and serve and authorize the required signature. Is there a motion we approve the resolution?
I'll make that motion based on what you read there.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next thing, consider approval of federal tax certification for GEO sales tax bond series 2021 for the citywide sales tax street project. This motion to approve execution of federal tax certification in connection with the insurance of general obligation sales tax bond series 2021 for the sales tax, citywide sales tax street project, and authorize the required signatures. Is there a motion to approve the
So moved.
Second.
motion been made and second? Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next, consider approval of bond attorney's closing memoirs and authorize the redemption of city outstanding series 2018 note in a total amount of $6,003,075 from the citywide sales tax street project account.
I'll make a motion to approve the bond attorney's closing memorandum and authorize the redemption of the city's outstanding Series 2018 notes in the amount of $6,003,075 from the citywide sales tax street project account.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next, consider bid for City Hall's keyless entry system and secure camera system. Motion to award the bid for the installation of 9 interior and 2 exterior keyless entry access to select 1 security and communication in amount of $21,600 and to table the bid award for security cameras at City Hall until the August 23rd, 2021 meeting. Is there a motion we approve the keyless entry system?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments?
This is just for City Hall, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And, on the reason we're asking to table any decision on the security cameras, we feel we need more information. There's a pretty big difference in the amounts, and we'd like to gather a little more.
Did you have many people bid?
2 people.
So is it the same company would do both, or you could split it out?
Right now, it's one of the companies for the keyless, and then we'll have to look. What was it? I hate to, if we go out for rebid, I mean, there was a difference of 12,000 roughly between the 2 bids for the cameras. So that's why we feel we need to
Get more information.
get some more information on it. What methods each were proposing and reliability, that kind of thing. 2 of the cameras are for outside the building, so we want to make sure that they're suitable for that, weather resistant and whatnot.
Okay. There's been a motion and a second on the floor. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next thing, discussion, Brown County's request regarding dispatch service. They requested Mike, myself, and John DeFore. Actually, the contract was signed between the city commission and the county commission, and it's not going to go away. So I guess we'll just go ahead and meet with the county on August the 2nd. And actually, John, this is actually what I feel is maybe we leave you outside on this one here and bring in Andy Delaney. Okay. And so is that all right?
That's
Is that all right,
probably-
Mason? Okay.
I agree.
All right. I guess I need a motion to approve the 3 individuals going.
It'd be yourself, Andy Delaney, and myself
Yeah.
to attend the county commission meeting to
We don't really have
discuss or just
anything to say
listen?
other than we've already closed our budget for 2022. So, but we'll meet with them because it won't go away. So
Yeah.
I guess we just meet with them. Okay.
I don't know that a motion is needed, but I don't know that it hurts.
Okay.
I
That's
don't know
fine.
that
We
one's
don't need
needed
one,
because
as long as everybody knows.
there won't be a quorum of the
No,
city
we
commission and no
won't.
binding action can be taken.
Doesn't hurt to go listen.
Yeah.
Next thing, consider examination of concrete depth and street and citywide sales tax street project. We've discussed this for quite some time about doing core samples on the streets to check the depth of the concrete and some streets. And Mike's got some bids on doing core samples. And I guess to put out actually a bid, and we talked about it today in depth a little bit more. And I think that if we get into start pulling core samples and we run into some kind of an issue that we want to pull more core samples, there's what do you think, Mike? I guess.
I'll just give a quick recap. I reached out to four firms that provide geotechnical services. I've heard back from 2 before coming up to the meeting. And what I was asking them, just to kind of be able to compare apples to apples, is starting on Miami Street from 1st Street to 10th Street, basically 9 blocks, and a minimum of 27 samples being taken per KDOT. Per the KDOT specs that our project references. You basically do 1 core in each driving lane of each block. So there's 2 cores. But then I also asked them for 1 additional core per block, as, how'd I word it, as close to the center line as feasible. And the reason I said as feasible, I've heard from not our streets engineer, but one of our other engineers, who I was kind of picking their brain on this because they're not associated with the project. They said their lab cautioned against being anywhere closer than a foot to the center line or any control joint because there's a high potential for inducing cracking or additional failure. But I left the request here as, as close to a center line as feasible, thinking that the firm can determine. And speaking with our engineer, he said, yeah, if you do a core right at the center line, you're probably going to get a crack out of it because it's right there at another controlled joint. But it's not to say that that's not done. That's how I came up with the 27, basically 3 per block. But also according to the KDOT specs, you take 1 per driving lane, and if that one comes back out of compliance with the specs or below tolerance, basically, then you do 2 additional ones, minimum of 200 feet apart. There's kind of a pattern, that KDOT lays out depending on what you find. You average those, average the thickness, and then determine. Now, if you take the one in the driving lane and it's within specified thickness, you move on to the next block, or the next driving lane, basically. But I thought starting out with Miami, that seems to be where more has been said about. So I figured that's, probably a good spot to start. And that doesn't mean it's over then, but one of the quotes I got back was, and then, like I said, this is based on 3 per block, not knowing what's going to be found. $3,961.50. Each additional core would be $100. Now, and then the other company is, where's that? $5,692. Each additional core would be, was it $95? $90. Like I said, there are 2 other companies that
Well, they said they could start on it the next week.
right, and that's another piece. The lower one, the 3961.50. They said they'd be able to start late this week or early next week, depending on needs. I did say that our crew would provide traffic control during this.
Well, I think that's the place to start, but I don't think if we run into any isolated cases, I think we ought to jump some other streets too, like the one over by the bank. And then we need to do some spot checking on 6th, 4th, and some of the other streets around town too, even maybe even 12th Street, So I guess that's a good number, a good place to start. But again, I think down the road, I think we're going to look at hitting some other streets too, just to make sure that we got the right depth
So it's an additional $100 for the 39 one, additional $100 per
core.
And I imagine it has to be all at the one time. You can't just be like, hey, can you come back?
No, you can. There's it'd be an additional trip charge. Say we did the 27, and you have the findings, and want them to come back, then I think the prices still hold. It'd just be, an additional trip charge. But kind of my thought was, if say it's 400 block of Miami and they're in the westbound lane, if they do a core, and it comes back at 7 1/4. Of course, now I've got to look at this. Then by the KDOT specs, then they do 2 additional more. I hate to say that. Yeah, 2 additional more at random intervals, a minimum of 200 feet apart. Take those measurements and then average them all together, and that kind of plays into what you do from there. Now, if they do that first core and it's 7 inches instead of 8, that's a whole new ballpark. That can either lead to removal and replacement, but typically it's going to lead to going to the 10-foot intervals to see how big of a section that is. Is it stretch the whole block, or is it?
Well, we need to get started on it, because we need to know some answers.
Yeah.
The full commission and Becky, she's a street commissioner, and we need some answers right away before we do anything with any more appropriation of funds, until we get to find out exactly what we're working with. Because so I think it's time to start phase 1, and if we have to go with more, then they just have to come back, and we just, I don't know, it may maybe 30-some hundred, and then again, maybe 10,000 when we're done too. You never know. So
That's one of the things I
let's
was
place start.
told by multiple or say three firms is the most important core is the driving lane where the vehicles actually
Drive.
the part that they're on. That being said, I have asked, based on the pictures that were taken, it's right on the center line, from the way it looks to me. So one of the questions is going to be asked of me is, do we want to go right on the center line or how close to the center line? That's
We
what I'm
don't want a
struggling
bunch.
with.
We don't want a bunch of more cracks. I mean, if we can stay right we need to get right into the meat of where the traffic lanes are, because that's where we need the integrity of the depths. But Miami's used quite a bit, probably not as much as Iowa Street, but we're patching it up too. But it's been there a lot of years, 40-some years, and just kind of hope these will last till the retirement of the bonds anyway, 30 years.
Or do whoever we select, do we go off their recommendation of distance from a center line or
I would
I'm not
say
sure.
these guys have done it before, and they go according to KDOT. They're going to go do the coring where they think it's at least dangerous for us. I mean, we don't want a bunch of cracks, but we got a bunch anyway. I mean, it's not like
But
we're
if-
short of cracks.
If we have an engineer, you said that was pretty emphatic that we don't want to go right at the joint, which to me makes sense. What difference is 1 foot going to make? I'd rather be safe than regret it. You're right. We got cracks anyway, but I'd rather not encourage getting more. And like you said, Bill, my main concern is the driving lanes where we're going to be putting all that extra pressure. So that's more of a concern to me than if the crown of the road, right at the crown is the required depth. I mean, it's important, but I wouldn't want to risk the integrity of the street just so we can check. But I really like the idea of bringing in a impartial company. So there's no question. I don't want AHRs doing it. I don't want us doing it. I want somebody who comes in and really
Well,
doesn't
we
have a
don't wanna
dog in the
use-
hunt.
We don't want to use local either, because
No,
everybody's got
no, it needs to be somebody who doesn't really care. Just come in and do your job.
I'm wondering if we did try to drill in the center line, at the crown of the road where the center is, with a 2-inch core, if that would end up breaking up all that. I mean, you're gonna
Right.
catch the edge of two
Yeah.
separate pores, and that's all gonna crumble. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
think
You may not have anything. I guess you could stick the tape down in the hole when you're done, but you'd have to clean out all that. If it breaks up, I mean, I don't know how that would work, but
Another option is, I asked them for 3 per block, a minimum of 3 per block. I mean, this is an estimate, but you got to figure that a third of that cost is that third one per block. Do you even mess with the center line and hit 2 in each driving lane per block? Then you're looking at probably 53 or 5,400 versus 39. But that's another option. Do we even mess with the center line? Or stay that, I can't picture in my head how far the inside, driving track is from the center line of the road. I'd think it
Why not just
would
do
have 2
the,
feet.
do the original bid? And if we feel like after that we need more, then ask them to do more. I mean, why not at least start, see what we find?
Yeah.
And if it's all pretty much the same, then why keep drilling? If there's a big fluctuation, then I guess we need to dig in more. But
Yeah.
I'd be happy just starting with the original number that you said. And
Let them decide how close to they feel from the center line to.
Yeah, we
Do it.
need to get to moving. So I mean, if we can
Okay.
get them in here in the next week or so, I think it's time to just go ahead and approve the low bidder right now, and go ahead and start the process.
not wait for the other two. I mean, are you assuming we won't hear from him? I don't know how much time you gave him.
No, I told them all I apologized for the rush, but said, look, there's a meeting tonight and
Well, we're gonna, and they may all come in, but if we're gonna start something,
I mean, did you tell them to have it done by today if possible?
I said it'd be
It'd be.
very
behoove them to do
appreciated.
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does the HRS think they're done with fixing all these things, or where are they at?
No, they don't think so. No,
They know they're not that lucky.
I mean, they're not working anywhere right now, are they?
no, I haven't seen them around town, but they know that they're not finished.
they're not
They're
done.
waiting for the shoe to drop, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not over until it's over, so whatever, so that's the way we're gonna play this. So I think we need to go ahead and get a motion on the floor to take the low bid or,
Well, it's not really, I mean, I hate to use the term bid because we didn't put it out for bid, but it's within this amount's within my authority. And it's below the 5,000. So, I mean, it could be if the other two submit and they're within my authority.
And just,
well, if you're over, you got authority with that much money anyway, you're up $5,000.
Yeah.
So you can approve that without a commissioner's approval, just as long as you're on board with it.
expander. So I make a motion to give the city administrator permission to move ahead with the core sample testing with the company that is the most appropriate. I don't know how you want me to say that.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
That's pretty vague. Anybody else have an idea? I mean, because do you really have to have that specific of a motion if it's within your spending authority? Can we just say, give you permission to move ahead with getting the streets tested?
Right. I mean,
Well,
do that not to exceed
we're not gonna approve it
5,000.
over your spending allowance anyway.
Right. So,
So I
not,
mean,
but
you gotta come back to us anyway. So if we got a bid in, I think we need to get the process going because
it's really a blessing, so
yeah,
to speak, from the commission to move forward with this, not to exceed my spending authority.
yeah.
So Tish, if you could write that up the right way, I'll say I said it.
Is there a second?
Is that professional?
Second.
Motion been made and second to go ahead and start with the project, the coring process on the streets and leave it within Mike's authority to okay, that's close enough.
Exactly what I said, word for word.
All right. There's a motion been made and second. Is there any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried.
That'd be kind of interesting to drive along and see some of the course.
Next thing is consider approval of ordinance 2098.
You want to help with this one? Want to help with this one?
This is the one that Andy had spoke of last meeting. Our procedures, we've kind of veered off the beaten path. And so we're just bringing those back in line under this ordinance. And then we're also needing to update. We've been following and referencing the first and second edition of the Code of Procedures for Kansas Cities. And we need to actually start referencing the fourth edition, which is the most current. So, and the 121, 122, those are just the sections in that ordinance that will amend the code. Do you have any questions?
I already went over it, so. There's any other comments from anybody? I guess I'd entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2098.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you read like section 9 and 10, different things like that, it talks about what we had talked about the requesting ahead of time and you
Yeah,
could
we're,
set things on the agenda.
Yeah, we got a little loose with that
Yeah.
guest cards and whatever, so. Okay, is there a motion to approve ordinance 2098?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2098, which is an ordinance amending Hiawatha City ordinances 1-212, 1-213, 1-214, and 1-215 concerning the code of procedure for the city of Hiawatha.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments? No comments, we'll vote.
Commissioner Mitchell,
Aye.
Commissioner Shamber,
Aye.
Commissioner Lonkey,
Aye.
Mayor Collins.
Aye, motion carried. We're canceling the executive client tonight.
Yeah, no
Wait.
need for it.
There's nothing to report on it anyway, so. Okay, next, John.
Have just a couple of things this evening. Are we worrying about the heating and cooling? Having them look at it?
It wouldn't hurt.
Okay,
It's a 1-year agreement, right? I didn't get a
Correct.
chance to talk to Andy. You
correct.
might mention,
And so we'll go back and talk to Andy on this. There's a company that has been doing heating and cooling for us. Last year, we asked them, and this spring, to come in and continue with what they're doing. They've charged us $546 twice, which is each time they come out for this spring checkup and then a fall checkup. I got a hold of Pierce. They had to come because the other company couldn't help with what we needed. So they came in to fix our problem been a month ago. And I asked them about it and they said, oh no, we'll charge you $650 the entire year to do the spring checkup and the fall checkup. So it's a considerable savings, which was the reason and it's such a small amount, it would be under Mike's purview. But we were just going to let you folks know to make sure you guys were okay with saving money.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. There's nobody anymore. No, that's a great idea, John.
The other thing we go back on is this, and I do apologize, Becky, I spoke to these three beforehand. I received a call from Mitch Romine, who owns a business downtown. He bought
Okay.
the old Napa building. And if you happen to go down there, you will see that there is a cutout, and that is actually a driveway. And he's asked and somewhat pleading to just get to be able to use his driveway for his building. So really, the city has made a couple of attempts to clean up their lines, but to make this correct, we're going to need to go in there and really do the yellow hash and just kind of make that a no parking area. I spoke to Mike about it today. Again, he's very amenable. We will do what we can. Keeping in mind, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we will try to help keep cars out of it because that's what we should be doing now. But I told Mitch this morning that as far as getting somebody to paint it, we just don't have time right now. I can't even ask my street guys to do anything other than what they're doing right now. But I will let them know to keep it on the list. I wanted to bring that up for discussion, make sure you folks are all okay with that as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. The guy's got a driveway. He
ought to be able to
deserves be able to use it, and especially when he's starting another business there. So,
Yeah. And then finally, over the weekend, I went to the Elks Lodge meeting in Atchison, and they gave the city another $1,000 check again this year for drug and alcohol education. So, thank you.
thank you, John.
And hey, John, what about the deal that you went down into the state house for? Yeah,
I did.
If you wouldn't mind
As-
bragging on
as
that for a
part of my duties, and this year I'm the president-elect for the Kansas Peace Officers Association. Having said that, I was asked to represent, and I do that a couple of times a year. This one just happened to be a governor bill signing. So you might have accidentally seen me on TV. I don't know. I hope not. But nonetheless, we represented the city of Hiawatha and the state of Kansas for a bill signing that is really big for law enforcement. So some good information for us. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Tish? Andy's not with us. Mike?
Yes, sir. In my report, I mentioned that tomorrow is a kayak meeting for the sewer project. It'll be attended by our engineers, our grant administrator, myself, then Department of Commerce, KDHE, and USDA. Fortunately, I double checked my calendar today and I don't have to go to Topeka. I get to attend via the internet. It saves me a trip down to Topeka and getting there at 4 and coming back late. But we'll be doing that tomorrow. Biggest thing is it allows CDBG and KDHE and USDA to ask questions and even discuss ideas that can be incorporated into the application for the project. So we'll do that tomorrow. ARPA, we haven't talked about it for a little while, but on July 13th, we received $236,510.60 as ARPA revenue. It's been placed in its own fund. It's called Fund 98, but that's for tracking and reporting. So it's all in its own space. I think it would be beneficial to set up a work session to explore kind of department head requests that fall within the allowed uses of the funds. I'm not asking for next meeting, but give the department head some time to also look at what's allowed and see, and then come before the commission and have a good discussion on what the funds can be used towards, but also what the priorities are for the city.
Well, that's a good idea, Mike, to get to the people. And this is one shot in the arm deal, and we got another one next year. And so
Yeah.
it's just something that we don't have to budget in. It'll just be a one-time deal for each area we put it in, and
Yeah.
which won't change the budget anyway. So
Just a few updates. Water and lights. All the post lantern lights downtown have been switched over to LED. When they did most of them in town, we saw a huge decrease in electricity cost out of the lights fund. So this will help even more. The Evans well generator that Brad Scott spoke of, was it last meeting or 2 meetings ago? I think last meeting, is all fixed. And then Brad and I, we're awaiting an approval of a permit from KDOT to add, quite a while back, we talked about a signal on the back of the northbound mast arm on First Street, First and Oregon. We've talked to KDOT. They said they'd approve it for this signal. We submitted everything. We're waiting for their approval. Streets, you might have noticed that 802 Delaware and 903 Shawnee are on the ground. Those both came down last week. You guys have done a good job cleaning up. They plan to move the excavator to the west side of the railroad tracks to begin 3 demolitions over there. From there, 310 Hiawatha is the remaining structure from last year's list. They've made quite a bit of headway, and that's not even including property owners that have entered into the demolition agreement aside from this list. I think Nick said, I'm thinking this was before 802 Delaware that he said he's at 14 for the year. So he's either at 15 or 16 now, but that's quite a bit. They're also in the process of preparing streets to be chip sealed. It's expected to begin approximately 1 week. And then they plan to begin work on the storm drain on East Iowa, the ditch there by the Fisher Center where the road's caving in.
that needs to be done.
Only other thing I have, just a reminder that August 4th, when's that, second, third, next week from Wednesday, is the employee / commission family picnic and pool party. We'll begin at 5:30 at the Fisher Center and then move over to the pool. We'll provide hot dogs, hamburgers, and drinks, non-alcoholic. It's a family event. But we ask that everybody or anyone attending bring a side dish.
Do you need a number, how many people are coming or?
Yeah. If you wouldn't,
Okay.
that'd be helpful. Yep, absolutely. But it's been 2 years since we've done this. A year and a half since the last any kind of employee party, the last holiday party. So
Good.
we're looking
Sounds
forward
good.
to it. Hopefully it's not quite as hot
Yeah,
this week.
Let's hope.
Yeah. Yep. That's all I have unless there's questions.
Dave Wilson, are you here tonight? You got anything? No, okay. I didn't want to leave you out. I don't have anything tonight. Brian's not with us. Evans?
Just want to remind everybody about the National Night Out. It's good. It's back again this year. Of course, we missed it last year, and it's always a lot of fun and always some good food and everything. So it's a good event.
Anything else?
That's all I've got.
Becky?
Nothing for me.
Dave?
Yeah, I received a thank you note in the mail today that I'd like to share with the other commissioners. It says, to the City Commission, we want to sincerely thank you in taking quick action in getting the tree out of the spillway that's out at the lake and general cleanup of that area. We appreciate everyone's efforts in keeping the Hiawatha City Lake beautiful. So I think we've still got a little bit of work to do there where the volleyball court is. That looks kind of ratty till we get that
drainage.
finished, but I know that's down the road a little ways here yet. So.
Yeah, I see the tree went out pretty quick. So.
Yeah, that looks a lot better.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to pass this along to Mike and Tish to give to Nick and Gene, I think.
Brad,
Brad,
Morgan, and
Brad
Gene.
and Gene, yeah.
Yep.
Make sure they see that.
They braved the depths and got rid of the tree.
That's it.
Anything else, Dave?
No,
I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
For a second,
I'll second it.
motion been made and seconded to adjourn. We'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Thanks everybody for coming out. We got a big crowd tonight. We got Eric here, so he even stayed the whole meeting.
Hey, I was raised, if you come to a meeting, you stay for the whole meeting.
There you go. There you go. Well, thanks for coming in.